Welcome back. It's a brand new episode of Laugh With Me, a podcast with Jeremy Odom. I'm your host. Thank you so much for listening to last week's episode titled Just Hattie. Of course, Hattie was our guest, and she brought a lot of fans with her. Let's just say that. A record-breaking performance, the most listened to episode in the show's history. Thank you to everybody that checked it out. Hopefully you continue to and enjoy the rest of the episodes that don't have Hattie. This one, in fact, is just Jeremy. Yes, it's another solo episode. We're going to get into what happened in Topeka, Kansas last week, and we have a very special Thanksgiving Q&A. You guys sent in questions. I'm going to answer them, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But one thing I do want to call out, Hattie's bandmate in the Toxic Kids, their content group, you can find them at Toxic Kids Official on YouTube. Woolzelbucks, he just celebrated his 13th birthday. To celebrate, he had a 24-hour live stream on Twitch. And I'll tell you, I was checking in on the live stream throughout the 24 hours, coming in and out and just seeing what he was up to. He was mainly playing video games, which is great. And then every hour, on the hour, he would open a gift, which the gift sometimes wasn't very giving. It would be, it seemed like pranks, like that he'd have to eat really hot things or drink really gross stuff. And at one point, especially towards the end, it appeared he had been puking in his trash can and really was debating whether or not to continue with this 24-hour stream, but he did it. But I don't know how. I mean, I can't imagine staying up 24 hours and just sitting, and how he would stay awake, how he would keep himself entertained, let alone the audience that was tuning in to watch him. But it got me thinking, if I was to do a Laugh With Me 24-hour stream, like, what would we even do? I mean, I'm not really a gamer. Like, I play Madden, from time to time. I don't know. Is it entertaining to watch people do poorly in video games? Like, would it be fun to watch me die over and over and over again in a game? I don't know. It seems like most people that stream themselves playing games, or at least the ones that have a viewing audience, like, they're good at the games. I don't know if that would be entertaining, but I'd certainly have guests. We could have people in. We could riff. We could play games. I guess that could be fun. We could write jokes and just see if we could put together 5 minutes. I don't know, something to look forward to. I'm certainly down to do it. If anybody out there has any ideas or suggestions for that, let me know, and we'll collaborate. Let's just say that. I'm definitely willing to give it a go. But Woolzelbucks, man, congratulations, 24-hour live stream. That's that's awesome. Definitely a challenge, and thank you again to Hattie for jumping on the show last week. It was a lot of fun. Very proud of the work she's putting in, and all of you seem to enjoy it as well. So we'll see if she ever can pop back in on the show. But so this last week, I went to Topeka, Kansas. Now, I won't say it was for the first time. This was the first time for comedy. The last time I was in Topeka, Kansas, it was grocery store business. And it was a meeting at one of the grocery stores. Now, I won't say what chain it was, but they rhyme with Roger. And the meeting, I mean, mind you, there's, 16 of us, store managers at this meeting that they had come to Topeka. None of us live in Topeka. And they showed us the ropes. Like, I learned how to know when produce is ripe enough and when we need to pull it and what time we need to make sure that's done by, and that kind of stuff. And remind you, I just said store managers. I mean, I know just myself, at that point, I'd already been in the business for 20 years. And the other folks, they weren't young. This wasn't new concepts. I'm not ragging on them. I mean, sometimes you got to go back to the basics to, in order to move forward, right? And that's kind of what I was doing in Topeka, Kansas, as far as the comedy gig. I was there with Top City Comedy doing 5 minutes, and I was with 16 other comedians, and we put on a show at the Foundry Event Center, and it was a lot of fun. I worked on some new jokes. I'm working on one about singing in the shower, and it's not even really about singing in the shower. It's more about the thong song. You know, I freaking love the thong song. Cisco wrote an entire song about a thong, guys, and he did this like in 1999. I just threw that number out there. Was it 1999? Johnny, look up when the thong song came out. And if it's within 4 years, you owe me a beer. But that's the thing. He wrote an entire song about the thong. And this is a true story, and I may have Johnny look this up too, because the story behind how he ended up writing a song about the thong is incredible. And it is a true story. I'm, you know what, Johnny, you have more work to do today than you've had in weeks. You know, I've had guests on, and the guest and I do all the work tonight. You're doing the work, buddy. Find that story for me so I can tell the people. But I'm fascinated by the song. It's catchy as hell. You can sing along to it. It's been around forever, it seems like, and it still feels relevant. Like, I don't know. It still feels relevant to me. I mean, thongs are everywhere. But back then, apparently, it was a very rare piece of clothing. But I wrote this bit, and it's about, you know, singing in the shower and singing in the car. So the song came out in 2000. I said, what'd I say, 99? So you owe me a beer. So the thong song, the story behind the thong song, it wasn't written for Cisco. This song was originally meant for Michael Jackson, the king of pop himself. But Cisco, after seeing a thong, was so enthralled and so obsessed that his enthusiasm is what won him the song. This is a true story. And so they gave it to him, and, here we are. He had a 2000 classic, the thong song, by far his biggest hit. I mean, I could go on and on about the thong song, but the thing that I think that that I love the most is, honestly, today, I mean, everybody's wearing thongs, right? Men, women, dogs. I have seen a dog in a thong. I think it was like a joke meme. I'm not like looking for dogs and thongs. It was like, one of those jokes, but I've seen it. I know it's a thing. And anyway, I'm obsessed with this song. I think it's great. Anytime it's on, it's my jam. So the point of writing this new joke was I wanted to write about the thong song, but I also needed to make sense, so that I, ended up writing about, I was traveling, and there's places you sing. I like to sing in the car, I like to sing in the shower, and then that's ends up being the joke. Here, we'll play. Let's play a little bit of this here.
It's good to be here in Topeka. I had some windshield time on the drive here from Omaha. Had the opportunity to do one of the two things I love to do when I listen to music. It's sing along, right? I love to sing when I'm in the car on road trips. I love to sing when I'm in the shower. Probably the shower is the biggest one. The acoustics are great. The door's generally closed. You got the water coming down on you for theatrics. Like, that's always a good time, right? I think my go-to song is the thong song. Cisco. The first time I told this joke, somebody immediately yelled out, "I love thongs." And it's like, fucking right you do. That's because it's a wonderful piece of fabric. It's what all the men talk about. It's one of the finer things in life, right?
First of all, not a big enough laugh from that, because I just quoted lyrics from the song, the beginning of the thong song. So obviously, the audience in Topeka, Kansas, don't listen to the thong song on a regular basis like your boy here, because they should have caught that right off the bat and thought that was hilarious. Where do I find thong song crowds? Like, for real. Do I need to do bits in between strippers? Like, do you think that's where the thong song jokes really would hit? I don't know. Anyway.
That's the thing. When he gets to the end of that song and he screams out, "Baby, that thong!" I give the shower everything that I've got, every single time. My wife says, "Can you just shut up and pass me the soap?" Always ruining the vibe, you know?
So that's a thong song joke. And it's not really a thong song joke. It's more, me screaming in the shower, and I'm not alone. Like, that's the punchline. I need more thong song related material, that's for sure. So that's on the to-do list. More thong song related material. It's coming, and you're going to like it. But, so that was some new stuff from Topeka, Kansas. The Capital Journal from Topeka, Kansas, their local newspaper was there. They wrote a nice little piece on it. I'll make sure to share that on the Twitter. You should read about it. It was awesome. It's about their comedy scene that's growing in Topeka. And I have to say, I met a ton of the comics from the Topeka area that night, and they're hilarious. It was all over the board. Definitely not shitty thong song material, but it was good stuff, and it was a good night. And I will share the piece that the Capital Journal wrote, because it was a good time. But I'm gonna continue to work on this thong song thing. Like, I'm not giving it up. This week's episode of Laugh With Me is brought to you by Michigan football's head coach John Harbaugh's Monday press conference humor. It's hilarious. He's got these one-liners that sometimes seem way out of place, but when you really think about it and you put the context of the terms in which he's saying it, it actually makes a hell of a lot of sense. But why is he saying it at all? Especially with all the scrutiny that's going down on the Michigan University right now and him himself. The guy may lose his job after all. But here he is cracking jokes with this kind of humor.
Locker rooms, a lot like my mom's bathing suits. Like to see them in one piece.
Yeah, sure, he's cracking jokes, but the point is, he wants his locker room united. He won't be there on Saturdays to coach his football team that's trying to win a national championship and make the playoffs, but if they're united, then they can do it. This episode of Laugh With Me is brought to you by John Harbaugh's humor. It's out of place, but it's actually kind of funny. So I took questions from the audience. These are people who have listened to the show, that do listen to the show, and they need to know more. Now, first of all, you can find out more on the daily because I'm on my socials, I'm cranking out material, and I'm cranking out content on that. You can find me on TikTok at Jeremy Odom 0. I've tried to get just at Jeremy Odom. There must be other Jeremy Odoms. They won't give me without the 0. So, I'm working on something there. Twitter at JO from Nebraska, or you can find the show also at Laugh With Me Pod on the X, and then Instagram at Laugh With Me Podcast. What we really we need synergy here, Johnny. We need all of our socials that have the same name so people understand. Can you work on that, please? But we've got people who listen to the show. They've asked questions, and here I am to answer them. It is the Thanksgiving Q&A. First question that's come in, it's, Jeremy, you got any plans for Thanksgiving? Yeah, damn right I do. You damn right I do. For Thanksgiving this year, I'm hanging out at home. This is what I plan on doing. Not working. Let me just tell you that right now. I'm going to wake up. I'm going to hopefully eat like some donuts. Like, isn't donuts on Thanksgiving morning just like the best? I used to get donuts way back in the day. I used to get these really good donuts at this grocery chain called Super Saver. And they had good donuts. And I had an apartment near one of their stores. And I would always, on Thanksgiving, I'd get donuts and some chocolate milk and the newspaper because they had all the ads. And you get ready for Black Friday. Go back to the place, watch the parade. You got to love the Macy's Day Parade. It's cheese, but it's the good cheese. Like, it's the cheese from Wisconsin. Like, it's the good stuff. And, I hope I'm eating some donuts. Probably not chocolate milk. Your boy's got the Crohn's, so the dairy, I can do dairy, but sometimes it can be a problem, and I really don't want to risk it that early in the morning. Like, I'll no risk it, no biscuit, but I try to wait until later in the day, so that way, if things go south, it's not like a complete loss of a day. So I will definitely have coffee, which, again, there in itself is going to be a gamble because of the caffeine, but I will do coffee because I built up quite the tolerance for it. I think I can handle a little bit of coffee, and then got my donuts. We'll have the parade going. Do some scrolling. I'll throw out some content. Like I said, check us out on the TikTok at Jeremy Odom 0. And, watch football. There's 3 games on that day. I'll certainly watch some games. Not doing the turkey this year. Not doing a big turkey dinner. I don't know. I mean, it might eat turkey, but it's not going to be like, the big-ass turkey stuffed and looking golden brown and the big carving. And, yeah, we're not going to do that this year. I don't know. The kids don't really like it. And so we'll eat something. Eating, that'll definitely happen. But, I don't know. How many of you guys have actually carved a turkey? It's not that easy. And I'll tell you, the first time I had to carve, because I hosted at my place, and so everybody's like, "Oh, Jeremy, you got to carve the turkey." It threw me off. I did not think I was going to carve. To me, it was always like, "Oh, well, my dad will do it." No, I had to carve the turkey, and it's quite the it's quite the pressure cooker. It's a lot of work. It's not an easy gig. There's a lot of slicing and dicing, but it's thick, baby. It's thick, and you're trying to figure out how big of chunks to cut, and you got to fill up the plate, and I don't know. It's just not for me. I'm not a big foodie in that regard, so I didn't really enjoy carving. I'm sure I'll carve again someday, but not this year. That's for damn sure. Anyway, next question. Jeremy, what are some upcoming guests on the podcast? Well, let me tell you, we've got a good one for you next week. It's the return of Kyle. He was our first ever guest, and he'll be our first ever returning guest, and we're going to have him live in person for this episode. Actually, him and I we were having a Twitter back and forth the other day, and then I was texting him after, and I'm like, this would be a good thing to talk about on the show, and he's like, yeah, I'm in, and I was like, let's go tomorrow. Well, apparently, he's too busy to do an emergency podcast, so we will just do that on his time for next week's episode. So looking forward to that. We also have another stand-up comedian from the Omaha Council Bluffs market that will be joining us. Won't say the name yet. That's just a little tease. He's going to be joining the show here very shortly. And also, we've got somebody from the transportation industry that some of you folks might be familiar with. He's quite the get. Let's just say that. He's going to be on the show. He's actually a Napoleon. Napoleon, the former leader. I say former. It's not like any of us were led by him. He's the little short guy, Napoleon. There's a movie coming out starring Joaquin Phoenix. He's an expert in the Napoleon, and we're going to dive right into that. So we've got... You might be thinking, oh, I don't want to hear about Napoleon on the Jokester podcast, but no, you do, because it's going to be a good time, trust me. But Napoleon, no, I'm not... Wait. Johnny, did you book Napoleon? Like the ghost of Napoleon? Okay, no, it's who I thought it was. Okay, all right, never mind. So those are some of the upcoming. Oh shoot! I got a buddy. He's actually my oldest friend. That is going to be joining the show here in the next few weeks as well, and he's got quite the challenge for me that we will be debating. It's been a lifelong debate between him and I. That'll be coming up as well. So I gave you nothing in the answer of that question, yet I gave you everything. So those are some of the upcoming guests. And, a lot of guests, too, that weren't named. So, anyway. Okay, next question. Jeremy, how come no shows for stand-up in December? Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gearing up. I'm writing. I need more Thong song material. And we're going to be hitting it hard here in 2024. But we're focusing on the podcast right now, and we're going to get that going. But with that being said, there is a live show announcement coming very, very soon. That's happening in mid-December. It's coming very, very soon. It's not my announcement to make, but it's coming. And once it is announced, you're going to hear all about it. So just sit tight, bucko. Jeremy, who's your dream guest for the podcast? I've got a bunch. There's some folks that I'd love to have conversations with. Here's some people that, I don't know. Do they make sense for the format of this show? Absolutely not. Do I think they would be incredible conversations and we would find incredible humor in and inspiration from? 100%. Some of the guests that I would consider kind of that, what do they call that? Is that what they call white elephant? Like the white elephant? Here's my white elephant. Okay? Oh, it's white whale. Thank you, Johnny. Here's my white whale guest list for the podcast. White elephant. We're just going to start booking guests and then trading for better ones. That's what... Some from the music world. I'm fond of their music. I'm fond of their story, and I'm fond of their personalities. But some, it's hit home a little deeper for me, and I just love to have like a good conversation with. There's Mod's son. I think his story is incredible, and kind of where he is today, and the dude's still thriving, and he's been in the business for like 20 plus years, and loving his music every day. I listen to some Mod Son. I'd love to have a conversation with him. My favorite artist, Machine Gun Kelly. His album "Tickets to My Downfall" hits deep to me. I don't know. A conversation with him would be interesting. Swaco. He's an artist that I've become a huge fan of, and his TikTok content is hilarious. Like, I'd just love to hear some of his creative process. Like, not just the music stuff, but I want to hear about the creative process. On the comedy side, Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson would be incredible. I want to know his process of how he gets inspired and how he writes and when he writes, and just kind of in that regard, and what's next. I need to know what's next, from Tim Robinson. So he doesn't do a lot of media, so that would probably be a tough one. That's definitely the white elephant list for me. But Tim Robinson, that's somebody, if we could get on the show, that would make my year for sure. If we could get him on, but hopefully. Hey Jeremy, what about TWSN? You were writing and talking about bottom 5. What's next? Well, I'll tell you this. Little update on that. I chose a couple of weeks ago to not write any more articles for TWSN. So for right now, I will keep my reasons personal, but I will say this. Thank you to the former operations manager of TWSN. His name is Matt Levine. He's an incredible talent, an incredible writer. He's writing for Sports Illustrated right now, and he's primarily for the Dodgers, or Dodgers content. But he was the operations manager a year ago when I started at TWSN. He's the one that brought me on. He was a great leader for TWSN, and I will just leave it at that. Jeremy, what's coming up next? Well, Funny Bone, Omaha, November 30th. That's what's coming up next. I'm going to give you the best 5 minutes I got. It's going to be an incredible show. If you have an opportunity to be in Omaha on November 30th, it's a Thursday night, please come out to Funny Bone. It's going to be an awesome time, and not just to come see me. Everybody on that list is some of Omaha's best comics, and it's going to be a fantastic night. I promise you're going to laugh your head off the entire night. So please come out. Funny Bone, Omaha, November 30th. Also, next week's episode, the return of Kyle to the show. Lots of great stories. He's going to be in person here in the studio. It's going to be an episode you will not want to miss. That's what's coming up next. Also, you got to follow us on TikTok. I know I've brought it up a couple of times. It's at Jeremy Odom 0 on the X. You can find us at JO from Nebraska and at Laugh With Me Pod. And then on Instagram at Laugh With Me Podcast. I don't know about you guys, but like I don't work out. I get a lot of steps in at the grocery store every day. Like, I don't know, I think I do 20,000 steps a day just at the grocery store. So I don't really feel like working out or lift. I've never been a lift weights kind of guy, but I will say this. Nothing gets me more jacked up. It makes me think that I don't know my own strength. Like when I'm taking a hanger out of like a hoodie and it just snaps. God, I feel like a beast whenever that happens. It happens a lot. I don't know if I'm just, have some cheap ass hangers or I don't know how to do it. But I don't know. Feel pretty jacked every single time. I can tell you that much. So I'm not old by any means. I'm young still, 40. But I am old enough that my medications that I'm on have their own TV commercials. And I'm currently on that one where everybody's riding on the roller coasters. Like, I know you guys have seen this commercial on TV where everybody's smiling, riding the roller coaster, and while they're riding the roller coaster, they're telling you all the things that could happen to you, if you take this medication. That's the one I'm on right now, and now that I've been on it, like, for a few weeks, I absolutely understand the commercials. Like, before, it's like, why are they showing all these people on roller coasters? I've been sick and still gone to the amusement park. Like, I still rode the roller coasters. In fact, I still smiled, even though I felt like I was dying. I was. But now that I've been on this medication, I know that the commercials are metaphors for what you're going through when you take the medication. Like, I take a shot every 2 weeks in the butt. When I take that shot, when I take that needle, I 100% have those quick ups and downs when I take that shot, Sometimes you get the little jerk and you just kind of jump up when that needle sticks you. I definitely get the scared facial expressions when I'm in the feeling of pain, as if I was scared riding a roller coaster. And then afterwards, yeah, there's some extreme wind. What do you want me to do? Like, it's medicine. This is science, baby. And yeah. Now I just know this weekend, after listening to this podcast, you guys are going to see this commercial. And you're going to be like, who was it that was saying that they take this medication? Who was that? It was me. Johnny, these solo episodes are wild. I don't know. We need more guests. I need you to book the guests. It's a busy week, Thanksgiving week, so I know it's tough to get somebody. It's tough to get somebody here, but these solo ones are wild. Let's just say that. That or you could talk. I know you're nervous. You get nervous around, well, me. I don't know why, but you get nervous around me. Oh, Jenny. Oh, here's a joke. I wrote this, and I don't think it's that funny. It's how Irish I am. I'm so Irish, my mom keeps Irish beer on hand just to offer it to me. Like, why? That's not funny. I'm so Irish, if I were green, I'm constantly cosplaying as a leprechaun. And I don't even know if I'm Irish. I just have red hair. work on the punchlines. We got a great episode for you next week, I promise you. Kyle's going to be here, and we have quite the discussion planned. Not planned, just a topic that we've been going back and forth on, and really looking forward to it. So thanks for listening. Remember to subscribe on Spotify, subscribe on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to the show. We're coming to YouTube very, very soon. And thank you so much for listening.